Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new to my channel, my name is Rachel Aust. Welcome, hit subscribe while you're here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 10 mistakes that I see people make when they're on their fitness journeys. These aren't necessarily just beginners, but it can be anyone, anywhere in their fitness journey. It's just things that I see a lot of the time. And yes, I've done some of these myself too. I'm not just going to be talking about the mistakes that can be made. I'm also going to be talking about what you can do to ensure that it doesn't happen again, or it doesn't happen at all. If you have done any of these things or are currently doing any of these things, I'd love for you to write the numbers of the things in the comments. I'll leave the numbers as I list through the items, but if you leave them in the comments, that's going to help me see what I need to make content about, like what sort of things you guys are struggling with. All right, so let's jump into it. The first point, and no bias, but I definitely see this come more from female clients rather than from males, and I've seen female friends of mine do it more than male friends of mine, and that is lying about what you eat. This doesn't benefit anybody. Nutrition is huge. Nutrition can do more for your body than training can, so that's why it's really, really important to make sure that you are on track with your food and what you're eating, and lying about what you're eating is not going to help anybody, especially lying to yourself about what you're eating. Some of you might be thinking, oh, how do you lie to yourself about what you're eating? And I'm talking about this is when you're tracking food. So if you're using my Train journal and you're tracking it in there, or if you're using an app like MyFitnessPal or LifeSum or one of those other apps that are out there, it's very easy to lie to yourself by leaving out things or changing things like portion sizes or what you included in a meal. Because if you go back to reflect on what was working and what wasn't working for you, perhaps something was working and you haven't tracked accurately, or perhaps something wasn't working at all, but it looks like you've ate totally clean when you really didn't. Balance and moderation is great, and it's necessary when it does come to the psychological well-being side of fitness and health, but binging or like overdoing the junk every day and then not including it in what you're tracking does not help you. If you are going to eat it, you should be writing it down. So just be accurate in your food tracking. Lack of warm-ups. The reason that we want to warm up and activate our muscles is not only to prevent injury, but also to make sure that when we are training, we can exercise that muscle properly, get a full range of motion, and actually do the work that we need to be doing. So for example, if you're training legs, you might want to get out a resistance band and do a few different activation techniques just to make sure that when you are training, you are targeting your glutes, they're warm, they're activated, they're ready to go. I've done this myself where I've skipped warm-up. I jumped on bench press for chest day and then I injured my shoulder, and it took probably about 2 months to recover, and every now and again it still plays up a little bit where it starts to ache when I do bench, even if I am warmed up properly. So it is really about looking after yourself, and we do want to prevent those injuries so that we have less to worry about in the long run. Next is no rehab or recovery, and this could be something as simple as making sure you're stretching for 15 minutes or foam rolling for 15-20 minutes after you train. We really just want to stretch out those muscles, cool them down, and again, this does prevent injury, but not only that, it will prevent a little bit muscle soreness. Other things that you can do to look out for the longevity of your muscle include getting regular, like once a month or once every 3 weeks, massages. You could go to a chiropractor if that's your kind of thing. I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore. You could get dry needling, you get acupuncture. I get acupuncture every single month. Even looking on my channel, my exercise videos do far better than the recovery video that I've done, but recovery is super important, and I don't think a lot of people understand the best ways to be stretching, foam rolling, all of that sort of thing. Number 4 is not having an exercise plan. If you don't have an exercise plan, what are you doing? You're just going in, rocking up, potentially doing the same thing every day. You might not even be tracking how you're going, if you're progressing. Are things getting better? Are they getting worse? Is your food working for you? How do you know what's actually working if you don't have a plan to try and stick to? An exercise plan is also a great way to set mini goals for yourself. So you might decide to change up your training for like 12 weeks or 6 months and just see what changes occur in your body and your strength. So I have a few different ones available, and if you are on my blog's mailing list, which I'll leave linked in the description box, you do get 15% off any of these. I have an 8-week at-home training program, which is called 8-Week Transformation Challenge. The way this one works is it's HIIT, conditioning, and circuit training. It's great to add in supplementary with your gym training, or if you're new to exercise, this is the plan that you can follow from start to finish, and it will progress you and get you fitter over the 8 weeks. I also have a 6-month gym program, which is a women's gym guide called Get Lean. So this is a gym-based program, and it is important that you have a little bit of gym experience, and it's a lot more similar to the style of training that I do. I'll leave them linked in the description box and you can check them out because having a plan is only going to do you good. Number 5 is not taking rest days. Something that is so common that I see people do when they start off. It typically, this is more of a beginner thing that I see happening, is they get so excited, or anyone gets so excited about starting, they have all this motivation, they want to do all this stuff, they have all these cool fitness goals that they want to try and reach, but then they just overburn themselves. They'll exercise every single day, sometimes twice a day, and that kind of training really takes a lot of getting used to. I still take rest days. Sorry if I bumped my mic just then, but the way that my split is at the moment, now granted I do change my split up every now and again, but the way it is right now is I'll do chest and arms, then the next day I do legs, then I do back and shoulders, and then I take a rest day, and I do cardio sprinkled in there as well, but just those 4 days on repeat over and over again. So every 4th day is a rest day for me. You do need to allow the muscle group to recover, because what is happening when you're training is inside the muscle, you're actually tearing the fibers apart. These fill with fluids and then they repair and they grow stronger. And if you are training the right kind of way, they will grow bigger too. So remember to take your rest days. Don't get too excited and just go ham and go all at once, because that is the easiest way to fall off track. I see people do it all the time. I've seen people who start my 12-week transformation challenge, which is my online 12-week training program where I go through the course with you, and there's a whole group of people doing it at once. I'll see people do that and trying to do another challenge at the same time, and they're always the people who fall off track. Number 6 is rewarding yourself with food for training. You shouldn't be rewarding yourself with food. I train my dogs with food. That's how I get them to do the commands that I want them to do. You shouldn't have to reward yourself in the same way. So find something you enjoy about exercising, or find a training style that you actually enjoy doing. And I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to actually love exercise. When I started training in the gym, I was like, this is cool, this is all right, this is better than the other training that I've done before. But as I got better at it and as I progressed, that's when I really started to love it. 7 is not pushing yourself, and the saying no pain, no gain is kind of true in that way. You do want to make sure that you're doing more than you thought you were capable of. You're pushing yourself past your limits, and setting goals for yourself as well. Like if you trained at this level this week, maybe not the next week you might not have the energy to do it, but maybe in a couple of weeks time you can take this as the base limit and try and do a bit more. So really focus on what you're doing. Try and get a couple of extra reps. Try and do a little bit of extra weight or a few extra sets of something if you can. 8 is copying what you see on social media. Just because it works for someone doesn't always mean it will work for you. This also comes back to having that plan in place, because you need to know what your goals are and then what you need to do to achieve those goals. You might be training to try and gain some muscle, but someone else that you're following might be training to lose some weight. And that doesn't always align. Yes, sometimes there are some exercises that you can do, but if you go and copy their exact training formula, that may not work for you at all. 9 is expecting supplements to be a magic fix. And I know a lot of people ask me, what supplements do you take for this? What do you take for that? And to be honest, mine change all the time, and it just depends on what I feel like I need that day. Some days I'm really low energy and I know I need to take my iron that day because perhaps a few days before I haven't had enough iron in my diet, so I know I have to supplement it. It's just going to depend on how I feel in my body, and that's something that you will grow and get used to, the feeling of what you need. Some supplements and medications, yes, you do have to take them every day, and it's very important to do so. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm talking about things like, smoothie additives or meal replacements, or things like, powders that are meant to slim you up and all that sort of stuff. You see them all the time. There's a couple of brands that pop to the top of my head, but I'm not going to name them, where you're meant to add them to your smoothie, and then people will just put them in a smoothie with ice and maybe I don't know, a banana or some strawberries, and that's hardly any fiber content in your smoothie. There's not really that many great direct nutritional benefits. Yes, the powder might have some stuff in it, but it's always so much better to get it from your food. Supplements should be an aid to whatever it is that you're already doing, not the be all end all. Number 10 is giving up too soon. Always give it time and try and make it a part of your lifestyle. It shouldn't be about quick fixes. It shouldn't be about just doing an 8-week challenge and considering that the end. Consider that the start of your journey. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Include any of the numbers that you feel like you have struggled with before or struggle with currently, just so I know what to look out for and what to plan for in my videos. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll catch you in my next upload. Bye!